Several countries in Europe were participating in the Great Divergence, setting Western Europe on the road to economic success and domination. France, under incompetent kings and failed feudalism, was not one of them. What happened when French farming failed and the tax system to support royals ruined the Third Estate? That is, the 95% of the people who were commoners. The incentives for economic and financial success did not exist. The Estates General was called in May 1789 to manage France's latest financial crisis. Another poor harvest and rising bread prices caused additional Parisian anger. In June, the Third Estate formed the National Assembly to create a potentially powerful legislature. When Louis XVI fired the finance minister who favored the Third Estate, an angry Parisian mob attacked the Bastille for firearms, resulting in many deaths. Royal leadership was needed, but not forthcoming. There seemed to be no hope that food, finance, or economic problems would be fixed. Bread went from high-priced to not available in Paris. Angry women in the marketplace grew into a mob of thousands, then marched the 13 miles to Versailles. Was the king protected or spirited away? No. Instead, rioting women, assisted by National Guardsmen, broke into Versailles. The less than brave king agreed to return with the mob to Paris with his family. They remained virtual prisoners in the Tuileries Palace. The royals attempted to escape at snail speed, but quickly captured. Nobles started to abandon chateaus and head for permanent exile. No, ideals stayed high for the Third Estate. The rights of man, liberty, equality, and fraternity were declared. Mainly it was a struggle for power because commoners taking charge were as ruthless and incompetent as the aristocrats. On the positive side, feudal requirements, including serfdom and guilds, as well as most hated taxes, were abolished. So much for ideals. A group called the Jacobins were the most radical, with Maximilien Robespierre an important member. They gained leadership and were key to the Reign of Terror in 1793. A committee of public safety, predating Orwell's 1984, essentially ran the Reign of Terror. In less than a year, some 17,000 people were officially guillotined, including Louis XVI and Robespierre. Thousands more were executed or died in prison. Regicide shocked most of Europe, ready to attack, and did. A Corsican artillery officer barely out of his teens proved effective on the battlefield. Napoleon Bonaparte was a bit too ambitious and lusted for power. He was named First Consul in 1799 and crowned himself emperor in 1804. Victories made France the ruler of much of Europe until he invaded Russia in 1812. The result was a catastrophic defeat, leading to his loss to the Sixth Coalition, then abdication. He briefly resumed power in 1815, but was soon defeated by Wellington and exiled to St. Helena. French diplomat Talleyrand negotiated peace at the Council of Vienna. Almost a millennium of less than brilliant kings, a failed feudal system, the French Revolution, Reign of Terror, and Napoleon. Then what? Possible answers: economic and agricultural reforms, tax reforms, banking and finance reforms? The principal answer: bring back kings, plus dabble with limited reforms. Whack-a-mole with royal progeny. What could go wrong? Who to be king in 1815? That would be Louis XVI's brother returning from exile, Louis XVIII. His claim to fame was magnificent obesity, and he actually died in office, the last king to do so. All the rest had to abdicate. Next up was brother Charles X. King Chuck tried to return to the ancient regime as an ultra-royalist, leading to the July Revolution of 1830 and his abdication. The monarchy was abolished in 1848 after the abdication of Louis Philippe, and the Second Republic was proclaimed. The executive would be a president elected for a 4-year term by universal suffrage. The first president was, unbelievably, Louis Napoleon, nephew of the original. Of course, he seized power and declared himself emperor. The emperor was defeated and captured in battle by Otto von Bismarck, then abdicated in absentia. Paris was besieged by Bismarck and starving. The animals of the Paris Zoo were slaughtered, beginning with the elephants, to feed people. The most disgusting part was the Christmas 1870 feast for elites, beginning with elephant consomme, kangaroo stew, rack of bear, wolf in deer sauce, and roasted camel. Fine cheeses and wines were included. The French Revolution and attempts at reform dramatically changed access to food, especially in Paris. Haute cuisine would be available to the masses, specifically the commoners who could afford it. Next time on Food History and Mystery.